Hello students, welcome to the second video for our narrative writing series. Again, we're learning about this so that you guys can write a better college application essay because it is going to be narrative. So we've already looked at the structure of it, how you should still have a plot, you should include some dialogue usually, and you should have some type of pacing and chronological order to your story and center it around one idea. Don't try too many different things of what you learn, just one idea. But now I'm going to say that your everyday experience is greater than exaggerating. Too often when I am reviewing some college application essays that students write, either in my class or they want me to review for their actual school that they're applying to senior year, I see that they take an idea and it could be something simple, which is fine, but then they exaggerate the meaning of it. So they'll go through something like walking a dog and how walking a dog has taught them persistence and how you have to fight through life and how sometimes you have to do things that you don't like picking up poop. Now, notice that that's going to appear to be very hyperbolic. It's going to appear to be very exaggerated. So when the college admissions officer is reading that, they're like, this guy's making this up. There's no way that you walking your dog has influenced your life that much. They're going to pick out what's phony and what's not. And too often, students try to highly exaggerate something that happened to them. They make it too dramatic. So in other words, do not fabricate a story or make something to be more important than it actually is. Because if you do, they're going to pick up on that and they're not really going to like it because it's not going to be genuine. And the biggest piece of advice that I can tell you is be genuine. Actually share something from your life. So in other words, if you start with an everyday experience like going to practice, like driving in your car and hitting traffic, like going rock climbing with friends, if you start with an experience like that, that's not that out of the ordinary, you then need to move that to a discussion really about your main point. Remember, it's supposed to have one single point, to something that's more universal. What did you learn that other people might learn from that same experience? And it doesn't have to be super deep. It can be something a little bit more base, but just know they're looking to see, can you reflect on an everyday experience and learn from it? So with that in mind, we're going to go and hop over to Johns Hopkins University where they have a host of good college application essays to look at, and we're going to look at Devin's essay about rock climbing with his friends. So if you go on Johns Hopkins University and you go to the site where they have all their applications, which I've linked to you, you're going to scroll down and you're going to find Devin's essay entitled Rock Climbing as a Second Language. So right away, we kind of get a gist of what he's going to talk about. We're assuming that he's going to use rock climbing as his everyday experience, and then he's going to springboard that into a discussion on how maybe he's made friends, maybe he's been able to learn something through rock climbing. So with that in mind, we're not going to read the whole thing together, but we are going to read portions. So let's start off with paragraph 1. There I was. Notice he's already using I, so it's first person point of view. Hanging from the precipice, muscles trembling, fingers aching, sweat dripping onto my spotter 20 feet below. This first sentence right away tells me a couple things already about Devin. Number 1, it seems like he knows how to write. Number 2, he's using great vocabulary, right? Hanging from the precipice, muscles trembling, fingers aching. Notice that's what I talked about in the last video. Use strong verbs. He could have just said, there I was hanging from the side of the rock wall and I was really sweaty, or I was sweating a lot and I was in pain and my fingers hurt. No, he says he's hanging from the precipice. His muscles are trembling. His fingers are aching. Sweat's dripping onto his spotter. He's making you feel like he's actually there. So he continues on and he says, he could see I was struggling and shouted words of encouragement, but my head was pounding too loudly to make out the words. During the initial ascent, I felt strong and confident, though the intense scope of the route had begun to loosen my physical grip, as well as my grip on reality. Oh, that's pretty clever. I made it to the final hold, exhausting every drop of energy, unable to fathom lifting my arm again. The wall then became a towering mental blockade. I knew exactly where to put my hand next, Yet I still didn't feel as if I had the physical means of doing so. I screamed and shot my hand up in a final attempt to finish the climb. I was only hanging on by my fingertips in sheer determination. Nevertheless, I had made it to the top. My belayer celebrated and lowered me down. Weak and exhausted, I could barely unclip myself from the harness. However, mentally I never felt stronger. So notice that his approach here is to take this everyday experience of rock climbing, and he starts off his essay just describing one particular event of him climbing, and it was really difficult, and yet through sheer determination he was able to make it to the top. Now, is this a little bit too dramatic? Yeah, probably. But it is showcasing strong writing skills. It is showcasing strong verbs. Notice he took this paragraph of just describing the event, but then he has one commentary on it, right? And the commentary is him inserting kind of the meaning behind this description. So if you're reading this and you go through and you're like, okay, great, lots of description here, but what's the point? Well, the point is he's sharing with us mentally he had never felt stronger. So even though his body was exhausted, mentally he was not. And then notice the next paragraph. Look at it. It's a little bit tinier. You can do that with creative writing. You can have a longer paragraph followed up by a shorter paragraph, because this isn't like writing an essay. This isn't like writing an academic literary analysis essay that we've done in class. You could be a little bit more creative and it changes the pace. So he just spent all this time describing something, him rock climbing. He leaves us off on mentally never felt stronger, and now this short little paragraph is going to tell us the significance of this. It is during these experiences that the world falls away. All that is left is the rock face itself. I become one with the wall, solely captivated by the placements of its hold and the complexity of its challenge. Time ceases to exist. So this is something that he really enjoys doing, to where time doesn't seem to matter. Now, my assumption is that he's picking the prompt that has to do with you doing a hobby or something that you enjoy doing where time seems to fade away. That's one of the prompts that college application essays often have. So then he goes on and he says, rock climbing is a second language to me, connecting it back to the title. I grew up scaling the tallest trees I could find, and he just goes on talking about that, and that he has a passion for climbing, and it's all about adrenaline. But then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, he tells you what the significance of his story is. Patience, collaboration, and determination are all needed when climbing a wall, like in any field of research. I no longer say I can't do something, instead approaching challenges with the utmost confidence. If one plan falls short, I reassess and approach the wall from another angle. I am comfortable making decisions even when I don't know what the outcome may be. Through this life-changing sport, I have strengthened not only my body but also my mind, learning the beauty of problem solving. So this is actually quite good. Yes, personally, I think he spends too much time describing the rock wall and not enough the significance, but I can't blame the kid. He does a fantastic job writing and describing everything. He does a fantastic job using great vocabulary, strong verbs. Almost all of this is written in active voice, but then he does explain why he's even talking about this. Because what did he learn? Well, yeah, he learned patience, collaboration, and determination, but more so he learned that if he fights through something, just like approaching a rock wall, he could approach life the same way, of researching it, having to be a little bit more patient, having to connect with other human beings and learn from them, but then also having the willpower to face a challenge. It's all about problem solving. And so he's really using his everyday experience of rock climbing as a metaphor for his life and for learning and through problem solving. So this is actually a fantastic college essay, and it's no surprise that Johns Hopkins University would want a kid like this in their program. He's able to take this seemingly insignificant sport, something that he just seems to be doing for entertainment, and he's able to reflect on it and say, it's more than just entertainment for me. This is teaching me about life. And so this is really what you're supposed to be doing in your essays. You take an experience like this. It doesn't have to be a sport. It doesn't have to be something like this that's physical, but then you're reflecting on it and you're telling the college application essay reviewers what this shows about you.